Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Family Jewels. I'm Colton Bartell.
And I'm Audie Bartell.
And we are both graduate gemologists here at Susann's. And today we are going to be talking about one of October's birthstones.
Yeah, I think October got a really good month as far as birthstones.
Yeah. So the other one is Opal, but the one we're talking about today is not that.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Tourmaline. It's a really, really fun stone.
Yeah, there's just great variety, and the other thing you don't have to worry about Tourmaline is there's no synthetics, and you don't have to worry about color enhancement, and it's just a nice clean stone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, and there's a plethora of them.
Plethora. We got to use that word today. That's fun.
And even where it seems to be somewhat a common stone in the jewelry business or whatever, there are some extremely rare and expensive varieties of
yes,
Tourmaline.
there is. Yeah. So we're going to start out talking about the more common ones. And then we'll kind of move into some of the more rare ones. But first we want to kind of talk about really where they're found, and kind of the spectrum that you can expect to see of tourmaline. So with tourmalines, for the most part, a lot of what we're seeing today is coming out of Brazil. Their crystals that they're finding down there are fairly large, really clean, and a wide range of colors.
Right.
They're basically perfect for jewelry. They're found in other places, but right now the primary source is Brazil.
Yeah, at one time, a couple fairly famous deposits in the United States, Maine and in California.
Yeah.
Pala, and I don't remember the one in Maine, what it was called. And I don't know that Maine is producing much tourmaline anymore. Pala still is.
Yeah, the Pala mine is still producing. I've actually gotten to go into that mine, which was pretty cool, just outside of San Diego.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why our trip got canceled. I think it was rain, which that even seems even weirder.
It would make sense. If you went up there, you'd know why you wouldn't want to go up there.
Yeah, I know,
but
it's basically in a desert. San Diego, they get 10 inches of rain or less a year. But I think that's what it was. I think we got rained out, so we missed that trip. I was kind of looking forward to that because I knew that they were pretty welcoming to GIA students. And
the only thing would be is if it rained, I don't know how you'd get up there. I
think that's what happened.
But it was a really, really cool experience. Didn't expect to see one particular thing while we were in the mine, and that was a lake, or basically a lake,
or basically a
vault door, an aquifer that was basically their vault door. Because when you come into the mine, it opens up and you can see where they've kind of dug everything out over the years. But where they're actively mining now, or at least, 10 years ago when I went, you actually had to go underwater up in the top of this mountain to get to wherever it was that they were working on it.
Yeah.
But
they didn't take you over there, right?
No. What was really crazy was the water in that mine was just crystal clear, clean. It was actually deceptive because they actually told us, bring you a canteen or something you can fill it with water because the water's really good.
Yeah, it's really rich in lithium.
So it has a real calming effect too.
Yeah.
And so I was the only one in the whole group that remembered to bring one. And I got to go back in with the mine owner to go fill it up. And he's kind of telling me about this stuff. I got to basically have about a 15-minute one-on-one with the mine owner, which was pretty cool. And he's shining a light down over this water, and I see this stuff floating, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Well, there was actually the water was so calm
and saturated.
That it had crystals actually forming on the surface of the water and floating, and if you touch them, they'd sink. But the suspension of the surface tension of the water was actually holding them up, which was pretty cool. But you could actually see them like slowly moving because there was a slight natural current within the little caves and stuff within this mountain. And but the water was like ridiculously clear. So
did you go down in, or was it elevated up some? I know you got to kind of go up to the mine.
It's up in the mountain. Actually.
That's kind of weird that the water
really
table would be...
Well, it's like a natural spring or something that's up in the middle of this mountain, and it's really odd. But, so went over there and I was going to fill it up, and I'm like, well, am I going to have to step out in there to, get into some water that's deeper so I can fill it? Because it only looked like it was maybe about that deep. He's like, no, you'll be good. I'm like, okay. Because I've got like this 3-quart canteen and everything, and he's like, it messes with your depth perception because, like I said, it only looked like it was about that deep, but in reality, it was almost like 3.5 foot deep.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really weird how just I don't know if it was the lithium that was messing with it or what.
But it's almost like a magnifying lens type thing.
Yeah, and that's basically what it was doing. And since there was no current to the water either, it didn't distort anything. Or there was a current, but not enough to distort anything. So everything looked
like it's
extremely clear.
Away, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you just reach in and touch it, but you'd fall in before you could actually touch the bottom of that. It was really, really weird, but got some water and...
Oh, did you didn't bring any of the little crystal deals?
No, I didn't. I actually... So, yeah, so some of those pieces, see if our assistant can go get the tourmaline specimen that's out of that front case, the diamond cases, the diamond ring cases. But we actually got to go through the tailings and stuff. They're right at the mine site. Basically just outside the front gate, and whatever we found we could keep. We just had to show it to him first for him to inspect it, because they had actually found some mineral specimens, I guess maybe a few years before we'd gone, that a student had found that had never been identified before. And they didn't know what it was, and he never did tell us what they ended up discovering or whatever. But he didn't get to keep that piece, but that was the only time that a student didn't get to keep it, but he got credit for the find. But yeah, we got whatever we could haul out, we could keep. So I brought a big old backpack, and I think I ended up with probably 20 pounds of gems and basically material, some ore and stuff like that was pretty cool.
It's got the black tourmaline in it.
Up in the very... Yeah. But that was just a really cool experience, because we could actually go in, and what she's actually going to go grab for us is a piece that we got out of that mine. And it's actually black tourmaline, which is called schorl, which there was a lot of in the walls. You could actually see seams of this schorl going through the walls.
That's a rich deposit.
Yeah. But the problem with schorl is, and the reason they were just leaving it there, is it's really, really brittle and it's opaque. It's just heavily included and everything, so they just left it there. But I mean, there was like massive crystals in there. And so, but they were all really well formed and well defined. So this is actually black tourmaline. This is actually directly out of the Pala mine in Pala, California, which is just, like I said, just outside of Southern California, or San Diego. But if you look at this right here, you can actually see kind of the cross section of a crystal that actually runs through here. And I guess it terminates in there somewhere, but we've got another one on this backside here. But this one's really, really well formed. And you can see that almost all these have like a triangular shape to that crystal, and then you have these long striations that go down the crystal face. This is very, very, very common habit for tourmaline. And we actually have a picture of another piece here. This is from our GIA book. And this is actually watermelon tourmaline that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but you can actually see that this has that triangular crystal habit for tourmaline. So
you can almost see there, it's almost how it even goes.
Yeah, so you can actually see in this party-colored tourmaline here. And by party-colored, that, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's meaning more than two colors. So if it's just two colors, it's a bicolor tourmaline. If it has more than two colors to it, it's a party-colored. But really cool experience to go to that mine and get to talk to them. But so we kind of covered that. Won't we talk a little bit about?
Well, there's some other places in the world, like that Afghanistan. Who's right next to Afghanistan? Pakistan, yeah. Those two countries, and then I think Nigeria is producing some tourmaline, and of course Brazil. And Brazil has produced some of the most expensive tourmaline. And then I guess the other one would be, what's the little island?
Madagascar.
Madagascar is producing
a little bit, not as much, but
well, maybe more than you think, because they're kind of getting into that Paraíba-like stuff.
Well, and there is some more of that's coming out of northern African countries, where they're mining some. I believe there's even some coming out of Tanzania in some places.
But still, probably the major part is still probably Brazil. But there are other places in the world that have. And, I was going to look up, which there's only one of, and I should have done it earlier. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, we were at the JCK show, and a guy had, I think it was like a 4 carat, maybe less than 4 carats. It was a small blue tourmaline, and I'd never seen the color before, although it's probably happened because tourmaline comes in almost all colors. But that blue tourmaline he had was a new variety, and there was only actually one of them in the world. I don't even think they'd named it yet.
The which one?
It was the blue tourmaline. And then I guess that one...
The Lidicotite.
Yeah, that one's named after Lidicote. But there's just an immense amount of possible colors, and the most expensive color, if you take Paraíba out, is red, and most of the time red is included. So to run across a red that's really clean, especially eye clean, that's really good. I mean, it's possible. The other ones, for the most part, are normally fairly clean. The greens and
you get greens and blues like these, and you can see that crystal habit.
And even the pinks are fairly clean. It just seems like when it gets to the red, and we have a red. I guess we could show them some of these.
Yeah,
this red is pretty clean, which is a little bit unusual, I guess. I don't know, maybe I should just leave it in there. We'll see what that looks like first. And it's not quite ruby red or fine ruby red, but it's still a really nice red. But this stone's fairly clean. And then, which is, just got through telling you, normally the pinks are fairly clean, but I pulled this one just because a little unusual shape. This one is not eye clean, but it's a really pretty stone. It's a kind of a hot pink.
And this is a picture. This is actually the Pala mine in San Diego. Yeah. And so we have the mine entrance right over here. What's really kind of unique about this is that it's kind of guarded by the FBI.
Yeah.
And the CIA gun range.
Which is in front of the mine.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those that you don't want to, you really don't want to head up there without having authorization, because chances are you may be part of their target practice. But Yeah.
Doesn't look like much, does it?
It doesn't, but it is crazy to think that there's like an underground lake up there.
The other thing I think is a little bit, there's maybe some other possibilities of tourmaline around there. So we have a salesman that had a tourmaline mine in Mexico, basically Baja, just across the border from San Diego. So, possibly there's some other spots there that, may be deep enough, they haven't been exposed or whatever, but...
Yeah, there's some really pretty Paraibas.
Yeah, show them that one blue one. Where's that? Where it's got...
that one?
No. Well, maybe it was on the computer and not in there. I was thinking you had it in there too.
And that's all the blue ones, I think.
Well, shucks. Well, they pulled out a blue one, and Paraíba is basically a mining district, I guess, and
the Paraíba state in Brazil. Yeah.
And there's a blue there that would rival sapphire in color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's actually a brighter blue, but real deep, royal blue, I guess you call it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an exceptionally expensive stone.
Yeah, it almost has a glowing effect to these stones, though. When you look at them, they're just so intensely bright.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a little light inside them or something.
Yeah. So, talking about these kind of normal colors you see, and we kind of mentioned these party-colored ones. So tourmaline is really unusual in that it's one of the few stones that can actually have multiple colors within one piece.
Right.
And
one crystal.
Tourmaline is even more unusual in that not only does it have more than just one color, it can have a ton of different colors. It can almost have every single color in one piece or one crystal. And for example, we have this one that's got pinks, yellows, blues, browns, oranges, greens. I mean, this has got pretty much everything in it. And these are what we refer to as party colored. And then you have what's called watermelon color, where you have basically the inside of the crystal is pink, like what this is here. You're actually looking through the green on this part to see the pink on the inside. But essentially, when this is sliced, you actually have what's called watermelon tourmaline, and it looks like a slice of watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
These pieces are the same way here. And then you can kind of see the pink core here and green on the outside.
I think they're seedless.
They are seedless, yes. Yeah. The other thing that's really cool with tourmaline that's a little bit more unusual is you can actually have cat's eye. And I got a picture of one of those.
Whole book just the tourmaline?
No, not all. So we do have cat's eye tourmaline, and you have cat's eye watermelon tourmaline, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
These are pretty cool stones. So yeah, as you turn these basically have long needle-like inclusions in them that whenever you move them, the light casts across the stone and kind of like, well, what looks like a cat's eye.
On these little crystals, are they voids? Are they?
Yes, they're hollow tubes.
Okay.
Yeah. But because these crystals or these tubes are typically bigger, the eye is more of a coarser look than what you would find in maybe like sapphire or ruby or chrysoberyl or some of those other ones that would cat's eye. So these are fairly coarse looking, so you can actually see, maybe some variations in it.
So these tubes, they go parallel to the crystal then? Like the length of the crystal?
Yeah, it seems that's the way that they're growing.
I didn't even show them.
It doesn't really say orientation of it.
And without looking at that one, may be a little bit unusual.
Yeah, without seeing a piece of rough, I think it'd be kind of difficult to really determine that. But I would imagine that it makes more sense that it's that way, considering even like the striations that you see on the side here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yeah, tourmaline, just really cool and unusual. You can get some really nice oranges and reds and yellows like those there.
And we showed you that pink. I'm going to show you, this is one that's in a ring. It's kind of a pastel, almost, what color would you call that?
Salmon.
A salmon color.
A peachy color.
Yeah. But they can vary. As that crystal grows, certain impurities come out that basically color it. And then like the party tourmaline, that's maybe even a little more, you probably need to read up a little bit on that. Normally, as that crystal grows, it would pull out those impurities at that time, and you wouldn't have that color again. But it looks like on some of those that there's actually a repetition of.
Yeah, and some of that may be just reintroduction of some of those different materials within that fluid and stuff, because these are forming basically in a pegmatite.
Yeah.
And so these are going to be like little lens-shaped, basically like volcanic kind of formation. It's basically.
But they're going to be, a lot of times these are going to be in like bugs. They're going to be pockets of these tourmalines growing in there.
Yeah, you'll have basically a pegmatite that's a big lens-shaped.
And there'll be a void
area, and within it you'll have these little pockets and stuff that are basically full of crystals like this. Sometimes it can be open pockets, almost like a geode within a larger area that they kind of break into. And actually they have a rendering of what they believe one looked like that was found years ago. Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
So this is just in like massive quartz, right?
Yeah. Because this mine, the Powell mine, actually started out as a lithium mine long time ago.
Imagine that.
Yeah. We're talking pre-Civil War.
I wonder if he could basically sell that water.
I don't know.
There's probably a use for that.
Yeah, I don't know. One of my GIA instructors, he came in and he was the one that told us to bring canteens because he goes on every trip so he can fill his up. So because he really likes to make iced tea with it and sit out by the beach because he said it's really calming. So yeah, I don't know if he still does that or not, or if he's even still at GIA, but we did want to show you some other specimens or crystals that we've got, or I guess faceted stones that we've got. And a lot of these you'll notice have more length to them. And it's just simply due to the crystal shape kind of lends itself to elongated stones. And so...
And this one's kind of a little bit more of just, almost a deep olive green.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a little bit more of a bluish green.
Yeah. We have some that are more blue, some that are more teal.
We actually have a bicolor, which is blue and green, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. And then we also have one that is gray and pink.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And actually, we've got a set of those. We've got 2 smaller stones and 1 larger stone, and it's actually gray with little pink lines through it. That's kind of neat, but it's really difficult to see probably on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an awesome stone, and it's October's birthstone, and we're 2 days in now. We're committed to October now. So anyway, we thank you guys for joining us today. And if you guys have any questions or you'd like to know more about tourmaline or any of the other stones or jewelry topics that we've covered in the past, please feel free to message us right here on Facebook, or you can give us a call at 361-991-7565. You can always stop by our store here at 4226 South Alameda in the Town & Country Shopping Center right here in Corpus Christi. Or you can always check out our website, susanns-jewelers.com. So if you guys have suggestions for what you'd like to see in upcoming episodes or something that you'd like us to cover that is jewelry related, please let us know, and we will try and get one of those videos worked in there for you. But anyway, we thank Thank you again for joining us this week on Family Jewels, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.